Sup guys, I watched Sonic the Hedgehog today and I gotta say I was pleasantly surprised, man. Considering how the rocky start the movie had, I'm surprised that it ended up being this decent. I mean, you do remember the first design, right? It was fucking abysmal. But seems like the studio heard, the outcry and decided to change the design, and the second design is actually pretty good. Considering the short amount of time they had to change it, the way it ended up looking is almost perfect, honestly. I'm very surprised that it ended up looking this good. And I've never been that much of a Sonic fan, honestly. I've only played like a couple of games, and most of the things I know are through research I've done in the past. But I still think that this movie, that I can still give my thoughts on this movie, honestly. From a story standpoint, this movie is actually very solid. I think the writer should be applauded for what they did, because this movie could have been easily destroyed by a few plot holes that I almost found, and I don't know how they did it, but they managed to make a story that was plausible. I mean, obviously not that that it's believable or anything, but that it's sort of grounded in some level, that it can be not distractingly bad. Because sometimes movies are so outlandish that you just cannot, get sucked into it. But they managed to make it a little bit believable, just a little bit, that you can get sucked in and, experience it, which is what happened to me. And yeah, the story is solid, special effects are pretty good, and Jim Carrey is perfect in this movie. Those are like the three main things that should be praised about the movie, and between the three, the biggest thing should be Jim Carrey, honestly, because that dude is perfect as Dr. Robotnik. Jesus Christ, it's so weird because there are so many scenes where Sonic and Jim Carrey's character are together, and somehow Jim Carrey's the one who steals the show. How? Seriously, only Jim Carrey is able to do that, in my opinion. There couldn't have been a better actor portraying that character. But yeah, those are the three main things that I wanted to mention. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna go in depth on the story, because the movie just came out today, and I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But another thing I wanted to mention is why I think this movie is important. Because if you're a cinephile, or if you've seen a lot of movies, that video game movies have always been like stigmatized, mainly because of the horrible movies that came out in the 90s, in the early 2000s as well. Titles like the Super Mario movie, the Resident Evil franchise, the first Tomb Raider movies. But then recently, video game movies have been, getting better. I mean, in my opinion, I still think movies like Silent Hill were good. But, still that movie, was split for most people. But ever since Tomb Raider, for example, I felt like movies are going in a step in the right direction. First with Tomb Raider, then with Detective Pikachu, and now with Sonic. And I'm hoping that with Sonic, they're gonna invest more in video game movies. And maybe, for example, the Uncharted movie would stop being in pre-development and just make it already. Obviously, I hope they change the cast, but let's see. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Oh, another thing I wanted to add is the fact that there's a big difference between Sonic the Hedgehog and Detective Pikachu, because I feel like with Detective Pikachu, the movie is more aimed at adults and kids. But with Sonic, I feel like that movie is more aimed at kids than adults. Now, it's still a serviceable film for, you know, fans of the franchise, in my opinion, especially near when you get to the end. There's gonna be like a few treats for Sonic fans. So if you are, you know, watch it, you know, watch the movie in its entirety. Oh, I mean, this isn't a spoiler, but there are 2 mid-credit scenes, so, you know, stay till the end, please. But yeah, that's something I wanted to mention. Yeah, if you're expecting it to be, I mean, I'm not saying that Detective Pikachu is, you know, it's adult driven or anything, but Sonic is just, with Sonic, it's more simple. That's the best way to describe it. Not that Detective Pikachu is complex or anything. You know, I'm not trying to say, you know that it's more complex or anything. They're both pretty simple movies. But with Sonic, it's more a bit dumbed down, because you could tell that they wanted a kid audience for it. But again, if you're a Sonic fan and even a casual moviegoer, I still think you can enjoy it. If you're a regular movie watcher, it can be predictable, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. I think that everyone can enjoy this movie. If you can't enjoy it, that's probably a personal preference, but I honestly think that Paramount went out of their way to make this movie very enjoyable. So my recommendation is, you know, go watch it because it's very enjoyable. I think that's everything I can say about the film. It's not perfect, but it's still good. So if you have the time, go and watch it. Yeah. So like always, guys, please like and subscribe and share this video. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.
Come here, girl. Go ahead, be gone with it. Come to the back. Go ahead, be gone with it. VIP. Go ahead, be gone with it. Drinks on me. Go ahead, be gone with it.